Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Judy Parasella. We are here for a series of workshops, the first being how to leverage social media, or moreover, how a job seeker can leverage social media and why. What does, or who does, your online reputation matter to most? Anybody?
Yourself.
Me.
A stranger.
Ah,
Your online reputation matters more to a stranger because they don't know you. They're seeing you for the very first time. Your family, close intimates, they see you one way. You're a different persona when you go home, right? Okay.
Yes.
What about when you meet a prospective client, a prospective employer? You're a different persona. So your online reputation matters to strangers most. Make sense?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, so what we're going to do is discuss what social media really is. The bottom line for all of us, you don't need to be intimidated by it. It's nothing more than like-minded people getting together digitally for a common reason. We're here today in a flesh community, right?
Right.
We're here because we have one thing in mind, leveraging how to leverage or why to leverage social media for a job seeker. That's why we're here. Same thing with social media. You just have the ability to do it digitally. That simple. Nothing more. So why, in fact, although a lot of people are intimidated, why should a job seeker even consider utilizing social media? And here are some numbers as to why. JobVite did a survey last year, and who they surveyed was recruiters and HR people. 82% of the recruiters are utilizing social media when they're looking for prospective employees. Question was asked, which social media network does your company use or will they use? Look at these numbers. 49% said LinkedIn. How many of you are on LinkedIn?
Oh,
How many of you utilize LinkedIn more than once a week? Oh, good for you. The majority of the people don't. In fact, what's surprising is the majority of the people got onto LinkedIn when they were laid off, but the downside is they either A, don't even remember what their password is, or B, they're not being interactive with it, not updating their profile. That's the downside. When you get into something very exciting like social media, unless you interact with it on a daily basis, or at least a couple times a week, the content then becomes stale. As we see that when we go on websites. We see stale content, not so inclined to stay on the website, right? So we go someplace else. Same thing. Another survey was done, Execunet. Execunet went to executives and asked them one very specific question. How did they find their last job? 96% between networking online and offline, looking online, and maintaining an online profile. 96%. So if this doesn't tell you that you need to be where the recruiters and HR people are, then I'm really not sure what will. Again, here we cover it again. CareerBuilder did a survey. 30% of hiring managers are Googling and or using Facebook to identify people, a prospective person. Now think about it. You have got 70 to 90% of people getting jobs. They're getting it as a result of networking in some way, shape, or form, right?
Yes.
The first thing that you notice, or the first thing that a prospective employer does, or HR person, recruiter, is Google that individual, right? So we need to be where these people are. A couple of things you need to do in advance, though. You need to not be intimidated by social media. And there's a couple of stages that people go through. LinkedIn is one way, social media. You hear about tweeting, you hear about Facebook, MySpace back in the day. There's also something called Medical Mingle, yet another platform where doctors interact with each other on a social media basis. So you're in a couple of phases. You're either, I know I need to do something, I'm just not sure what it is. Right?
Yes.
I'm not sure how to approach things. Or you realize that you do know how to approach things. You don't want friends, fans, followers. You don't even like people. So why is it that you want to be someplace where people are going to be able to find you? You need to step back. You just need to step back. The only reason you want to get into social media is to share collectively with people who are on the same wavelength. So if you, for some reason, are too busy and you can't get into social media or you can't do it on a consistent basis, then it's not worthwhile getting on. Okay? A few things, and this speaks to the very first thing. Dan Schawbel, he wrote a book called Web 2.0. I'm sorry, Me 2.0. Personal branding. 6 items that he has come up with. The very first one, before you get into social media, over and above LinkedIn, is conduct a situation analysis of your life. If you're a single parent with 4 kids, it'll be very difficult for you to work on social media with any sense of consistency or volume, right? If you're a single person and say you're not going to school, you might have a greater bandwidth to really incorporate some of the networks, some of the social media platforms. So first, do a situation analysis of yourself. Make a determination if you have the bandwidth to even worry about social media. Number 1. Number 2, unearth your personal brand. What we touched on earlier, that was we have a different persona with the people we know the best, right? Or the closest to. And on a professional network, we deal with people differently, a different persona. Find out from the people closest to you how they perceive you. Even somebody you used to work with, you might be linked on LinkedIn, find out how they perceive you. If that's not the persona that you want to portray to a prospective employer, change it up a little bit, okay? The next one, select your tools. This is based on 3 criteria. First one being the volume of the network, or the volume of the social media platform. The first one being LinkedIn, of course. That's very large. It has some credibility to it, which then leads us into credibility. The credibility of the platform, social media platform itself. And by that I mean something that's been around a little bit. Remember, hundreds and hundreds of social platforms appear daily, weekly. Hundreds and hundreds go defunct in the same amount of time. So with regards to credibility, you want to make sure that there's something there that's been around for a little while, has a good reputation itself. LinkedIn, Facebook is picking up an awful lot, as is Twitter. The other one is relevance. We spoke earlier about Medical Mingle. Somebody who's a graphic designer is not going to hang out on a Medical Mingle social networking platform because that's for doctors. So you want to make sure it's relevant to the industry in which you're in, okay? The next one, build your online empire. And these are some things that we'll touch on later workshops. The other is market your brand. Who do I follow? How do I get people to follow me? Who fans me? That kind of thing. And then monitoring your reputation. Now, what we want to do is identify the platforms in which we want to put our brand out there. The most obvious, where the employers and recruiters are, and in this order, they're on LinkedIn. They're viewing people on LinkedIn. Look at this number. 60 million members. 60 million members. 170 industries, 200 countries. That's where the people are. That's why we're there. The next one, Facebook. 350 million users. Did you know that Facebook, for search, just beat out Google this past week? That's pretty incredible. Twitter is another one. 80 million access Twitter in the US monthly. That's enormous, enormous. And YouTube, 1 billion videos viewed daily. 20 hours worth of videos uploaded a minute. That's where people are. That's where our prospective employers are. That's where the HR and recruiters are. That's where we need to be, if you have the bandwidth. So what you'd always need to know, you keep this in the back of your mind. We have made a determination that social media, if leveraged, that's where our prospective employers are. That's where we need to be. And remember, it's not what you say your brand is. It's not what you say what your friends say your brand is. It's really what Google says your brand is. And I will tell you, social media, it ranks highest in search engines. So the more you're interactive in social media, the more that you'll show up on search engines if your name, or higher ranked when somebody plugs your name in. So these are things we should all remember. Thank you for your time. That was the first in a series. Again, in future series and future workshops, what we'll talk about is how to get relevant followers, how to mingle in some of these platforms together, how we can brand ourselves and market ourselves, as well as, and most importantly, how to monitor your reputation online. Thanks again.
Hold up.
Should I wait it?
Yeah, that was 10 on 15 minutes.
Sorry. It was what?
10 minutes.
It was only 10
Yeah,
minutes.
you still
Yeah,
got 5
the
minutes
clock
showing?
right now is-
Really?
Yeah, you blew right through that.
Okay.
Talking quicker than you need to.
By the way,
Happens when you're nervous.
I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
think did her bracelets pick up a lot on the, no, because I could hear it pretty well sitting here. Okay.
Judy, stay where you are, and they're gonna get reaction shots of the audience.
Okay.
My goodness.
So you guys need to look like you're looking at Judy. Right now, focusing on the last two people. Or you just want a group shot?
Don't flip anybody out.
Yeah, don't bob your heads.
Close your eyes.
Barry said, can you do a wave?
What?
Wave.
Who?
Wave? We started at your end. Come on, Jacob.
Poor Jacob's eye. I thought he was going to sleep.
Huh?
I thought you were going to go to sleep.
No. It was boring at first because we were doing that, but then it got started interesting when you talked.
Jacob, get your hair out of your eyes.
Thanks.
Direction from the door.
We can nail that door shut, you know.
Of course. I'll get it back. It's okay.
You want me to do a close-up on camera 3 with Judy's reaction shots? So Judy, look at the audience, and you're gonna be listening to their questions, so.
So can I not? So
It's
I
over.
can't- yeah. You're. I know I shouldn't. I don't stand.
All right,
like
that's
this
good, Judy,
normally.
thanks.
I think your LinkedIn numbers are low. Oh,
No,
no?
checked LinkedIn last night. Less than 12 hours, or actually less than
And there's
24 hours
39
ago.
million and
On LinkedIn, it's 60.
60.
Yeah.
And Facebook is much bigger. I can't imagine what employers are using Facebook.
Facebook is now being used to find out. What you need to remember is, if all of us graduated the same time, going after the same job, we all look the same. The way in which an employer makes a differentiates, is to check out what their personalities are, and that's what they do on Facebook.
Very well, it was very interesting. It came across fabulously.
Yeah,
Just too short.
it was too. Well, it can be longer, and I would, I.
Yeah.
It
I mean, we
was
never gave you a chance
intended.
to count down.
What about the YouTube questions, though?
We didn't, and that's what, we never did see any questions.
Yeah. That's what.
I blew through it. I think that's
We should
probably
probably put a
why.
question pause between each slide. That way you could edit that out if it's dead time, but that would stretch it out a little. You might
Or
get one or
after-
two questions.
Or maybe.